We're here in Pennsylvania to talk some New York Jets and God knows what else. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green, here on the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. And if you've been paying attention to my social media last night, you saw the reason why me and my pop are here in Pennsylvania. We're going to see the Bret Michaels concert later this evening here in Grantville, Pennsylvania, the greatest musician of all time, which should be absolutely awesome, and a surprise trip for my pop, who obviously, as he sits right next to me for those watching on YouTube, is here on the YouTube and everywhere else. So, yeah, Dakota, he's looking good in all the Jets gear, full Jets gear. There you go. Beautiful. Pop, welcome to the show.
Hey, now. Here that we initially I thought we were coming to give Aaron Rodgers a blanket party, but for the sound beating that he deserves. But no, it's going to be amazing. Bret Michaels, one of the best musicians in the history of music. And I'd like to do a quick shout out to your mom.
Sure.
Let's get off moms. But anyways, to your mom, your beautiful mom, and happy birthday in no particular order to the United States Army, our flag, and President Donald Trump all have birthdays today.
It's a good fun fact to share. There's no question about it. So with that being said, everybody, make sure you guys show all the love in the comments section. The Hop on Pop show is here. It's going to be epic. Make sure you guys get everything going here on the program. We have a full article in the YouTube description down below. It's not from me. It's actually Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic. We're going to react to the players he had stock up and the players he had stock down for the New York Jets. And we'll say whether we buy it, sell it, or just sort of react to it in general, Pop. So without further ado, are you ready to roll?
I am ready. Let's go.
Yes. Are you ready? And appreciate it, guys. Make sure we have another 16 days and change left in our contest for this month. So make sure you get those memberships flowing, super chats, or join the Boy Green Coffee Club yourself. That's the pinned comment right now on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. All right, let's jump into it. First one, it's not going to be a big surprise. Some players' names we're going to bring up today, Pop, are going to be like, whoa, who the hell is this guy? And we need to explore it further. The first name on the list we don't. It's Garrett Wilson. That was stock up from Zach Rosenblatt. He called him unguardable, has made several highlight reel catches. He's reconnected with his whole quarterback. Contract negotiations are ongoing, as we talked about yesterday, between him, his representation, and the team. And this was a cool one from Zach Rosenblatt, who believes, with what he's seen from Garrett Wilson and what Tanner Engstrand has said, what Aaron Glenn has said about getting him the ball, this is something Zach Rosenblatt wrote in his piece, quote, "It would not be a surprise at all if Garrett Wilson sets a team record for targets and receptions in 2025. The name to circle, Pop, is Brandon Marshall, who holds both of those records, 173 targets and 109 catches. Now, Zach's going to have to fix this in his story. It's not 2016, it's 2015 is when those numbers were set. 2016 was the horrific after season that we brought everyone back. 2015 was the magic year where we had 10 wins. So, Zach, you got to fix that in your piece. But what do you think about the potential that Garrett Wilson could break the team record for targets in the season with 173 and the catch record, which is 109?
Yeah, I think that's probably not what we should be focused on, but I think that's easily achievable. To temper that, because he was within essentially one-ish receptions targets a game, to hit the target right at 154 from last year. I think we need to temper our expectations. Justin Fields is brings a lot to the table. You thought I was going to say yard. He brings a lot to the table. However, he's not a gunslinger. And so it's going to be a more balanced approach, right? The Jets were at the top of the league in their pass rush breakdown percentage-wise. They were like in the top 5 passing the ball the most. I think they were number 3. And they're at the bottom for how many times they rush the breakdown percentage-wise. I think it's going to be more 50-50. I think it's like 70-something, 20-something pass rush. It's going to be the other way around. So, yes, I think it's achievable. Those numbers are not off the table, but there's going to be less opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see how the offense breaks down. But I think he definitely is capable of it, but I think we're going to see less passing.
This past season, he was 19 targets shy of tying the team record. He had 154 this past season, so 19 targets shy of apparently this record that Brandon Marshall set back in 2015. And receptions in a season, only 2 players in Jets history have ever had 100-plus catches in a season. It's Brandon Marshall back in 2015. He had 109, 1502 receiving yards, and 14 touchdowns, the greatest single season we've ever seen from a Jets receiver. And Garrett just had 100-plus catches this past season. So those are the only 2. So a stock up for Garrett Wilson. Again, not surprising. Makes a lot of sense. And with the lack of a wide receiver 2 on this team, which has been a big theme, and maybe we'll get into that a bit later here with some of the stock up, stock down, obviously Garrett is going to be the main focus of the team. And something else I've liked to see, because last year, Garrett Wilson was clearly the guy, and teams focused on him, and he had some struggles early on in terms of production with putting up crazy numbers. He eventually started, giddying up as we got into it a little bit, but he struggled initially. I think this new regime is finding creative ways, it sounds like, from all the reporting at OTAs and mandatory minicamp, to get Garrett Wilson the ball regardless of the coverage, and that's something Devontae Adams has talked about in the past. So Garrett Wilson makes a lot of sense. Let's go from one stock up to a stock down, Pop. Malachi Corley, a guy the Jets traded up for to the first pick of the 3rd round. They were 65th overall. And, this can be laughed at as a joke, but it's also true. Malachi Corley has now had more jersey number changes than receptions in his career, Pop. From 14 to 17 to 6 now. The only good thing about this 6 number is he's perfectly placed between Garrett Wilson on one side and Justin Fields on the other, with their jersey numbers being 5 and 7 in the locker room. Those are the right guys that he should be around to helpfully stock up for him. But he's been stocked down, Pop, because he's been hurt. He's been working on a side field, not getting those reps. And Tanner Engstrand and Aaron Glenn said he's going to have to catch up to be able to make an impact on this team.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that he's been hurt. I would tell you that Malachi Corley produced, I don't believe Malachi Corley dropped the ball last year. But his lack of development was on the coaching staff, in my opinion, right? He didn't really, the one game he showed up, he showed that flash where they had that play designed specifically for him. We don't have to go over what happened at the end of that play. But, and so the upside, I think his stock is up. And the only thing that's challenging it is Aaron Glenn and his team have no allegiance or loyalty, right? They didn't pick Malachi Corley. They have him. What are they going to do with him? That's the real question. He needs to be developed. He needs to be given an opportunity. I don't think either of those things happened last year. And is Aaron Glenn going to be interested in making that happen this year? He's cherry-picked some interesting selections that we'll probably talk about in a minute from the draft, the speedster that can't catch the ball. And just kidding. And some of the cherry-picking of the free agents that were out there. So is he even interested in spending time with Malachi Corley, getting him in the rotation? Because there's only so many snaps that are out there. So I think Malachi, if he can get and stay healthy, his fate will be in Aaron Glenn's if he gives him an equal shot. Based on he's not an Aaron Glenn guy.
That's true. Corley's got to flip it around, though. Tony Alexio says Corley will be our number 2 receiver. And the good thing for Corley is the Jets did not go overboard. Like Woody likes to bring this up all the time. When Jeremy Ruckert was drafted as the third round pick in most years, like Mason Taylor, who was a 2nd round pick, he could have worked himself immediately into action. But that same offseason, a month before the Jets drafted Jeremy Ruckert, they invested $45 million at tight end. They signed Tyler Conklin and C.J. Uzomah. So from the get-go, Jeremy Ruckert didn't have a path to the field. So it's not like for Corley, what pick do we have? 7. It's not like we took Tet McMillan with the 7th overall pick And then we signed another free agent, and then Malachi Corley's like, shit, there's no path to making opportunities here because the room's loaded. The room is not loaded. So if Corley can't be the number 2 this year, when can he ever be the number 2? Or if we don't want to put labels of 2, 3, 4, 5, if he can't be a major contributor this year, he's never going to be a major contributor. And that feels like it as well.
Yeah, and that's it. If there's a level playing field for that number 2 position, it'll be interesting, right? This kid has talent, right? He is the Yak champion. So they just need to get it. You can't have Yak if you can't get the ball. But there you go. By the way, did you know that the U.S. Army,
what's that?
The flag.
Okay.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, you missed
Johnny
a birthday.
Boy.
Yeah, you missed a birthday. Come on, pop that.
No, I didn't see you pulled that up.
Yeah, come on. Pop.
Johnny Boy, the Trojan Warrior.
There you go, JB. Oh, I think we have that still. We haven't seen that in a while. So, guys, get your Johnny Boy emojis flowing. Let me see. I know we got. There we go. Booyah! Get your Johnny Boy emojis flowing. Happy birthday, Johnny Boy. JB. Happy birthday, pal. Hopefully the Knicks find a coach before you're dead, pal. Yikes. That search has been going on for quite a while. But this is a Jet Show, not a Knicks show. But happy birthday, buddy. There you go. Yeah, no, you got to get that one in. Appreciate you. So shout out to our guy, Johnny Boy, and Jets Worldwide. Make sure you guys subscribe to their channel, all one word, Jets Worldwide. And I might have missed it. I think they had their player interview last night. So, guys, make sure you guys go check that out on the channel. I was moving and grooving here in Pennsylvania. Shout out to our boy, OG Jets fan 1985, a.k.a. Tommy. He called in yesterday. He's wishing everybody well. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate that. And thanks for the membership gifting yesterday. That's really cool of you. I just wanted to float in. I saw we had a couple of other Corley comments. I wanted to throw those up on the screen real quick before we move on to our next player of topic here. I do agree with you, Stephen Fox. We miss having that 6'5" receiver like Brandon. Al Lazard is big like Brandon, but didn't have that kind of production or impact. So, yes, hopefully we can get one of those in the future. Dave Brigger asked an important question. Is Corley a real person? We talk about him a lot, but haven't seen him a lot. It's a fair point, Dave. Fair point. We can sort of work on that as well. And we'll see if that turnaround can happen as well. So, hey, fingers crossed. I'm rooting for Malachi Corley. Let's hope we can do it. And there you go, Dad. Not everyone always disagrees with you. I agree with you, Pop, on Corley. We have, let me get this name right, Jets and Giants fan. Why wouldn't you be both? I agree with you, Pop, on Corley. How can I trust the last OC when he was horrible? So that could be a part of the reason there to Pop. So, Yak King, there we go.
Yeah, I think that is a great point. Anyone that agrees with me, obviously, they're spot on. But I would share that calling the last offensive coordinator, and you can't say his name because if you say it 3 times, it'd be like he'll reappear like Beetlejuice.
Sure.
I think, calling him terrible could be the biggest understatement. Like that guy.
I thought you were going to say that's the biggest compliment he could have ever received.
Maybe. Well, that too. It was a compliment because that guy's a goof. Yeah. Capital G, oof.
All right, let's go to another one here. Let's stay at receiver, Pop. That's a popular place. Josh Reynolds. This is a guy who had an interesting life year last year. He was on different teams. He was leaving reportedly a strip club / gentleman's club / nightclub early in the morning. And Pop, you told me an important lesson when I was a youth. They said nothing good happens after midnight. And you were suggesting that, like, hey, don't sneak out or do anything dumb because only bad things are going to happen, basically. And, well, that story rang true for Josh Reynolds. Thankfully, he has his life because there was a very scary situation where he got shot in the back of the head. It was shot at and all kinds of crazy things happened. Josh Reynolds didn't really expound upon that during his media availability this offseason when a reporter was trying to get him to talk about it but didn't want to be so direct. He said, so a lot of interesting things happened the last year. Thoughts? And then Josh kind of gave him a side look and went, I'm not going to get into that. That's the past. But Josh Reynolds, according to Zach Rosenblatt, is the favorite to be wide receiver 2, Pop. Are you buying or selling that?
First of all, there's a reason you don't go out after midnight. The percentage of sober and drunk people goes from 99.99% to 0.1% to about 75% drunk or more. So that, drunk people get angry people get weapons, people shoot people or hit them with a car or stab them or whatever. So yes, it's cool, but stay safe out there.
Yes.
I think there's a great opportunity. I think Josh is one of them. Our gentleman from Georgia,
Arian Smith.
Arian Smith, is another. I think that is doing some interesting things. I don't think he mentioned him in this article.
He did not.
Yeah, so I think it's really this number 2, and then you can't discount Lazard in the mix either. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think Josh Reynolds absolutely has a chance, but I wouldn't pass Arian Smith, Lazard, Corley. I think it's an interesting Charlie in the box problem to have.
Okay. All right. So there's a chance, but you don't want to put it in stone that he's wide receiver 2, basically.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There you go. All right. Again, we stay at wide receiver because there's a lot of wide receiver featured in this article from Zach Rosenblatt. X. Throw up the X. We have that. I have that as one of my many hats on the wall for my boy Des Bryant. But X could be what's happening to Xavier Gibson's roster spot, where they're going through the roster sheet. Apparently, Xavier Gibson, who is very popular with the fans, who's an undrafted free agent, great story. Apparently, he was at Stephen F. Austin Pop in college. After he has some interesting years, NIL world, a lot of big-time colleges come to him, offer him big money. The coach at Stephen F. Austin thought he was going to leave, and Xavier Gibson said, no, screw the money. I'm staying here, loyalty and all this stuff. So he earned a lot of favor from that perspective. The Hard Knocks documented his journey, and he made the team. His first game ever, he has the overtime winner against the Bills, but it's been sort of all downhill from there, Pop, and now Jet fans are sort of sick of him, and they're ready for him to move on. So apparently he was a stock down here for Zach Rosenblatt, who added in, basically, he has yet to find that same magic again. It was a non-contributor on offense this past season. It sounds like the X is on X, Xavier Gibson heading into training camp.
Yeah, and that could be. I would tell you that, returners, the lifespan of a returner, shy of a few that you could name off the top of your head. Mm-hmm. There's not that many returners in the Hall of Fame. Normally what gets you there is this pure
Devin Hester, salute,
unadulterated speed. Yeah, I would say anything from last year's production, like he disappeared, we could just hit the rewind on 2 minutes ago. We have no idea.
Okay,
right? So last year, take that, shake the Etch-a-Sketch means nothing, and so I think he'll have a chance. But again, people in the return game, it's not a young man's game. Mm-hmm. And in your career, the average career of an NFL player is 3 years. I would say the average career of a returner is much less.
I would agree with that. And something else I would agree with is memberships being gifted here on the channel. OG Jets fan 1985, a.k.a. Tommy, baby. Here we go. That membership just went to AJ and Tommy. You doubled your raffle tickets so far this month. Thanks, brother. You have 2 raffle tickets for our contest coming up later this month, which let me throw on the screen real quick to show you guys what you're doing. Every time you spend $2.99 here on the channel, you are eligible to win our monthly prize giveaway, which this month includes a full New York Jets zip-up hoodie with a brand new logo and the original Jet Zone banner. It's a big Jet Zone banner you guys can put on your wall, so feel free to enjoy. And thank you, OG. Thanks, baby. Salute to you, my friend, for spreading the love here on Boy Green Daily. Again, you guys can join the Boy Green Coffee Club yourself, which we had yesterday from Jorge Perez, who made sure that he chimed in and punched in his own ticket. He didn't wait for it to be gifted. He got it himself. It's only $2.99 and a really cool way to support the show. That is Jorge, as he says. And as Stephen Fox says, the free way to contribute is making sure that you like the video, subscribe, and that's a good point, Stephen. Not enough people bring this up. The reminder bell on the channel, that makes sure that every time I have a live video, a pre-recorded video, it all comes to you and it is served to you on a silver platter via your notifications. Más importante. So, guys, make sure you guys do that. Again, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube and hit that reminder bell on YouTube so you guys never miss a video, baby. I love seeing all of that content. And by the way, YouTube appreciates it. The more likes we get, the more this Jet show goes in front of other Jet fans that may not be seeing the show. For instance, I was just looking at the YouTube analytics because I was trying to help my radio partner with something on his new channel. By the way, we're close. We're like 2 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. So people head on over there to @MC Show Digital, okay? @MC Show Digital, right here on the screen. Booyah! Make sure you do it. You got the little cartoon characters. Here's me looking a little portly, I see. All right. Very nice. Gator, we didn't have to be that accurate, but I appreciate the attention to detail. Apparently, you wanted to put in on this to make it fit more for Leonard Williams, our guy. But that is at MC Show Digital on YouTube. Guys, make sure you jump over there. Again, we're almost to 100 subscribers. If you guys missed the news yesterday, we announced on the radio, a press release went out to the media. My radio partner, who's right here, Jim the Man-Child Lurch, after 23 years doing sports talk radio, he's the longest sports talk longest running active sports talk radio show in Syracuse. His show is coming to an end on the radio version after 23 years, and we're going completely digital. So our journey continues. It'll be both me and the Man-Child doing all kinds of content, Jets, Giants, and everything else in between. The great part is you guys can watch what you want. If there's Giants content, you're a Jets fan, and you're like, I don't care about this crap, then don't watch those videos. But when there's Jets videos, you guys can watch those too. So again, at MC Show Digital. We're close. Right before the show, we're at 98 subscribers. So if you guys can hop on over, I'd appreciate that and show your support for that on the channel.
Yeah, just like your prom date, take that like button to Pound Town.
There you go. That's what we're talking about, baby. So talk to me. Shout out to all you guys. All right, let's keep going down the train, Pop. The reason why Xavier Gibson stock is down is, of course, all the reasons I said. That's true. But the name we're going to be like, who the hell is this? Jamal Pritchette, South Alabama. He is a person that has been making waves. He's 5'8", 175 pounds. He's a UDFA. He's been making noise at both receiver. He got this big bomb touchdown from Adrian Martinez this week, the UFL MVP, former UFL MVP. And he's been dominant in the return game. So Jamal Pritchett's apparently somebody to watch. He's a smaller player, obviously, with size and weight and things of that nature. But this is what it's all about. This is why I love Hard Knocks every year. We hear about these stories of players that are unexpected. We all have 53-man roster projections and predictions. Jamal Pritchette was on no one's 53-man roster prediction that I've seen over the last couple of months. So that's what's cool about it. And it seems like Jamal Pritchett's a guy to watch, Pop.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, it's early when you say he's getting catching passes from Adrian Martinez. You got to say to yourself, yeah, you probably see them both in the UFL sooner rather than later.
Oh, what the hell? Come on, man.
Yeah, and just a shout out to Johnny Boy. Going to the prom with her sister and her date doesn't mean you had 2 dates to the prom.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Yikes. Okay, great. I see OG Jets fan 1985 asked, BG, how was your prom? I got a classic story of mine. I can't wait to hear that. Let's see. So I had two prom stories appear in my mind. So in like the 8th grade prom, so back in we lived down south, there was we had elementary school, intermediate school, middle school. Intermediate school was like a 3rd to 5th grade, if I remember correctly. And then when you went to middle school, it was 6th to 8th, and then you go to a high school after. And we did one final dancing before we were going to high school. And me and my friend, he was like a German foreign exchange student, and he said, instead of going with dates, let's be bouncers. So outside, and we're fake checking people's IDs as they come in. He thought it was funny. We thought it was funny in the pre, and then we did, and we're like, oh, this joke isn't going off as quite as well as we thought it was going to. But the thing that worked out is the girls thought it was funny, and then I have this prom picture somewhere where I have 4 or 5 girls around my arms, and I went, hey, it ended up working out great for me. So that ended up being spectacular. And then the final prom, I got to go with this girl. It was like a fish theme or something. Then they do because they don't want people drinking or doing anything stupid, of course, because that would be illegal and you shouldn't be doing those things, is they have a safe thing where you have a safe party where they have cash flow and all this other crazy crap. So, yeah, that prom was pretty good. Pop, you remember your prom?
I remember your prom is better. Yeah. When you were the bouncer, you're probably 72 pounds standing at the door. So,
yeah,
not too many people were intimidated.
Tang Sudo, Art of the Fist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes. My prom, I hardly remember any of them. I was drinking Steel at the time. Anybody that's had Steel, they put a shout out in the comments. Steel, which is a brutal form of peppermint schnapps, triple the alcohol, and it's called the Memory Eraser. So
sounds like a good time. There you go. So, OG, you ask and that will deliver. And whoa, Mama Sita. We've got a massive super chat here from our guy, Philium. And every time we get a super chat, we have to hear my daughters are riling up.
Wow.
Look at this golden super chat. Look at that. Solid gold, baby, from Philium, who gives a $15 super chat. Happy birthday, Johnny. BG, please put 5 raffle tickets in Johnny's name, and we absolutely will. Thank you so much, Philium. And shout out to our guy, Johnny Boy here on the channel. Absolutely terrific, and we are adding that to our current leaderboard. So thank you so much. Appreciate it, and that was a really cool move, Philium. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, pal.
Yeah. Just 2 more prom stories. Yeah,
Yes.
Indy, I actually went with your mom, but anyways, don't listen. Don't hop off if you know. But I would tell you that anyone drinking the punch at the prom, as Hep pointed out. You may remember I've had this taste in my mouth before. Check that out.
LSD?
Hollywood Nights. You haven't seen that movie? You should go watch it. It's very funny. It's the one where they have the drive-in burger joint, and they page Michael Hunt. Only they used Mike instead. So if you say that rapidly, but anyways, I digress. That's a great classic movie. And it's got Harrison Ford in it when he was back in the younger days.
Okay, there you go. That's a good call out. And again, shout out to Philium again. Very nice, Johnny Boy. You do have 5 raffle tickets for our contest via FL Phil 98. So good luck in our contest. Again, we'll be drawing that winner on July 1st. July 1st. So
July
keep
1st.
that in mind. So thank you, Philium, for that. You guys can continue to send in your super chats and memberships. We appreciate it a great deal. Thank you kindly. All right, we'll go rapid fire through a couple of the rest of these, Pop, and then we'll open up the phone lines for a brief amount of time. Josh Myers, Joe Chipman, we've talked about this a lot, so we don't have to beat this with a dead horse, but Zach Rosenblatt said that stock up for Josh Myers, stock down for Joe Chipman. He continues to call this a legitimate competition. This has been brought up several times this offseason. We've had different flirtations. They signed Josh Myers, and we're like, man, that was the starting center for the Green Bay Packers the last 4 years, and they were on some playoff teams. Is he coming for Joe Chipman's job? Darren Muji mentioned it's a real competition at the owners' meetings. Aaron Glenn brings it up, and then these reporters are talking about it. But us Jet fans are like, come on, Joe Chipman's clearly the guy. He's not getting his job stolen, but people keep indicating that it's something to watch. So I guess we have to bring it up as they bring it up.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think hashtag fake news.
Okay.
I would tell you that it's pound sign. Actually.
Pound sign, as Grandpa would like to say. That's true.
Pound sign, fake news. Yeah, I would tell you that what Chipman's is gonna excel this year. He was at the top of the league in run blocking, and we didn't run block a lot. So if he can continue that translates from run blocking 20 to 30% of the time to doing it 50% of the time. He brings that to the game. I think, I don't think this is it's going to be good to have the depth, right? Some of these selections we made with the depth are going to be great. Okafor and getting this Josh Myers.
Yeah.
With multiple starts. This is a lot of depth to this offense line. Is going to move Tippmann out of the way? I doubt it. Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't buy it either, but hey, the reporters keep saying it's something to keep an eye out for, so I guess we will. Will McDonald, Will McDonald had a farm, and he was 99 last year, and he lost a 9. Now he's just jersey number 9, which is what he wore back in high school and college at Iowa State. And apparently he's been dominant, added 15 pounds of muscles. Reportedly, again, the Jets roster sheet doesn't reflect that weight gain, but maybe we'll see that in training camp when they make those updates. I thought we'd get that at the beginning of the Monday week, because that was the last physical for mandatory minicamp. What's today? Friday? Or Saturday, rather. So on Monday of this week, all the players did physicals, but they didn't add those weight changes to the roster sheet. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But Will McDonald looks dominant. And Pop, he really has to be. You got Jermaine Johnson coming off a torn Achilles. We hope that obviously he continues to make strides. He's going to probably start training camp listed on the PUP, physically unable to perform list. So it's him, a hurt guy coming back, and then Will McDonald, and that's it. We're sort of missing that defensive end 3 right now, which again we might talk about here in a few minutes. But they really need Will McDonald to be Superman.
Yeah, and it's great news. Normally, I mean, that's a significant amount of weight to put on, right? And as long as it's not cheeseburger weight, that's a positive. So it'll be good to see how he shows up, and shows out, right? Can't make too much ado about these mini camps, but in 40 days and 40 nights, when the arc finally hits ground again, the training camp, we'll see how it goes.
Random question here, and I love it when you guys send in questions. Stephen Fox says, any update on Mason Taylor signing his contract? Good question. No update, unfortunately, to share on that. But here's the thing that you have to be happy with as a Jets fan. Mason Taylor is working out. There's also, for those who don't know, there's injury insurance policies they sign when they're playing without a contract, so they're not just playing free willy. They are covered from that perspective. But still, the good news is Mason Taylor is practicing and going through workouts. Here's the thing. Just look across the way here, the Cincinnati Bengals, down the street significantly, right? That you look at them, Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick, he has skipped all of OTAs. He was not participating in minicamp. Then he just left. Now he's not even there, and they can't find him because technically he's not signed. So nice loophole there, Shamar Stewart. But that's drama we wouldn't have wanted. Imagine if we took Shamar Stewart and that was going on, we'd be losing our minds right now on these shows. So that's the good news. The fact that he's not signed is not ideal. But really, it goes back to those first two picks of the second round got fully guaranteed deals. That's never happened before in NFL history. So the rest of the second round picks are like, oh, are we setting a new precedent? Yes, please. I want that. The Jets are like, hell no. I don't know what those stupid teams are doing at the top of the second round. We don't want to do that. But that's now the interesting battle between player and team. The good news is that Mason Taylor has been on the field. So thankfully, we're not seeing any of that affect the New York Jets at this point, which is good. EZ asked a question here, Pop. How many sliders will you be eating at the tailgate? We've got a lot of different options. We got the Woody BBQ slider. It's got a little bit more action on it. The BG Sunday Tradition. We got Plain Jane. We also have a spicy option, which I believe is Chef Kev's. How many sliders are you pounding there?
So you're really going to ask yourself, what are we asking? Is it the sliders? Because sliders has multiple definitions, right? You go to whatever restaurant, they give you get
right,
like
little,
pack of little sliders.
Right.
And sliders, from my time in the Navy, that's a regular size hamburger.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, I guess
if it's a little baby slider, maybe 4 or 5 pack. If it's the big ones, maybe 2.
Okay, great. And I'm not sure if this is I know you guys have been talking about because of we had Joey Chestnut here in town in Syracuse. I'm actually in Granville, Pennsylvania right now, but specifically when we were in Syracuse, we had Joey Chestnut. I don't really want to stuff my face when I'm about to throw up going into the Jets game either, so I'm not going to try to break any world records eating these sliders, despite how good the food will be from Chef Kevin Gilbert. So I appreciate that, EC. But someone else is probably going to be winning that contest. And yes, let's get one more question before we go back to the stock report. Johnny Boy asked you, Pop, will you be the third guy? EC was looking for a third guy the other day with him and Woody. Will you be filling in for that role?
Hard pass.
EC, the search continues, as does our reports on stock players up and down here on the channel. Let's go through a couple other ones. I said we're looking for a third defensive end. Did we find it? Rashad Weaver. Who in the hell? This is a guy that a couple years ago had 5.5 sacks, Pop, but he's had 0 sacks any of the other years he's been in the league. So he's sort of a mystery, man, and apparently he's been making a lot of splash plays at camp.
Yeah, it just goes to this again was Aaron Glenn, scounging the world for these toys to bring to his island, right? Playing in the fringes, if you will. He saw something, who knows? It's way too soon to call, right? This is like a swing state. It's way too soon to call on how he's going to show up and show out. But it's good that he's making some waves, and we'll really see what happens when camp rolls around.
All right, let's quickly wrap up with a couple other ones. We'll put all these together. Don't even need a report from you on these, Dad. All the guys last year, when I said, who's the third defensive lineman going to be? Names that are unfortunately brought up because of the talent level is Eric Watts, UDFA from last year, Brandon McGregor, UDFA, Leonard Taylor, UDFA. Apparently all stock down from them, from Zach Rosenblatt. Stock up Byron Cowart, who we talked about a couple of weeks ago. He seems to be the favorite to line up next to Quinnen Williams, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. He's another journeyman, so did AG in this group know more than we did on certain positions where we say on the surface, who the hell is Byron Cowart? But they feel even better about them in the building. And then the final one here was stock up, stock down for corners. Azareye'h Thomas, the Jets' third-round pick, which a lot of people scratch their heads about because they thought they had plenty of corners after signing Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens apparently struggling early. But I think the big thing to highlight here, Pop, is Brandon Stevens is going against Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson, if he's going off, well, somebody can't be because they're the ones trying to defend Garrett Wilson. Azaria Thomas is not playing on the first defense, so he's not playing against Garrett Wilson. So I think that feeds a little bit of the stock up, stock down that we may overreact to. Brandon Stevens is facing Garrett Wilson. His stock is down. Azaria Thomas is facing Xavier Gibson. His stock is up.
Yeah. Can't read too much into that.
Okay, fair enough. So that wraps it up for our stock report. Again, a major shout out to Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic for the great piece. Does great work for The Athletic, and we've enjoyed having him here on Boy Green Daily several times over the last couple of years. A good friend, and congratulations, by the way, on him getting married this off season. All right, everybody, here is what we're going to do. We're going to open up the phone lines. We'll have those open for a period of time, and then me and my pop are going to continue partying. You know, it's going to be nothing but a good time here in Pennsylvania.
What's going on?
What's going on is exactly what's going to be happening. So we'll unskinny bop our way out of here in just a little bit. But before we do that, we got to do a little bit of, well, go ahead, Pop.
We're going to ride the wind.
Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, at some point on this show, Pop, and I feel like it may be happening, you're going to have to make a stand. And, you know, maybe it'll give some of these people something to believe in as we're sort of working our way through that. But let's go to the phone lines and we'll see what happens.
Your mama don't dance.
Okay, but your daddy don't like rock and roll. We go to the phone lines.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Here on the program, we got 300 plus people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. You guys can call in. The phone lines are open. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. All right, let's go to the phone lines, Pop. Look what the cat dragged in. Huh? See what I did there?
See what you did there.
Easy.
Hopefully, Easy's not going to cry tough when he looks at the mirror in his hairdo.
There you go. Good work there. What's up, Rolling Stones?
I got the alfalfa going on.
Oh, that's great.
Your son wouldn't know that. He's too babyish. I mean, childish. I mean, young. Whatever.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
What the hell was that cringeworthy shit you were pulling the other day, man? I swear to God, you made me sound like I had a flat black van and I was a pedophile. You know, just trying to grab a third person. It was like man rape or something. That was pretty
by the
creepy,
way, we
dude.
don't judge, Easy.
No
judgment. No judgment.
Yo,
I do.
sending lots of love from Dirty Mike and the boys.
No.
Yeah. Thank the boys. Yes. Thank the boys.
Yeah, there
Look,
you go.
I'm just trying to find a third person to carpool up with because two
Secret tickle time. You have a name for it?
the tolls just going up from North Carolina to New York. The tolls start at, it's pretty much free until you get to the Baltimore Tunnel, the Fort McHenry Tunnel, and then it's like almost $100 just to drive up in tolls.
$100?
It's gotta be an orgy. It's a toga party, dummy.
Wow, that's expensive.
Well, you have to pay to get out
actually,
of Jersey. That's the real problem.
Well, if you go up 286 or 270, 278 or something, I think you go up. Well, anyway, you got a lot of tolls and then gasoline. So if you split it with three people,
I want my $2.
You get that $2 guy off of there. So if you split it with three people, it's a reasonable price, and then everyone just takes the shuttle to the and then flies back home. I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Listen,
because
if you ride with Easy, it'll be nothing but a good time.
That's true.
We'll have a blast. We'll listen to some heavy metal rock and roll. Hopefully the rental car has XM radio. Listen to Ozzy's Boneyard all the way up.
And
maybe
you can
some
talk
a little bit of 80s
Easy.
Hair Nation and
Sure. That's available.
No, but I'm just saying a third person really makes it better because it's about a 9-hour drive. So everybody drives for 3 hours.
Straight, though. You have to pick
3-hour
the
shifts.
right guy. You need the right guy because every rose has its thorn. You don't want to pick the wrong guy. That maybe there could be a rub there.
You don't want to bring in a guy that's been
what's
dragged in by the cat.
Yeah, that would be less than ideal.
No. Hey, look, whoever's going to go up there, first off, they're going to be wanting to go, right? That's number one. They're going to be from my area, and they're going to want to have a good time. Nobody wants to go up there and argue and fight the whole drive up. Woody seems like a super cool guy. I think we're going to have a lot of fun driving up there. It's going to be a fun drive. We'll have good conversation. We'll talk about jets and some other shit, probably some music and all that stuff. And then we have a good time. And then it's just cheaper to drive with 3 people than it is with 2. Obviously,
well,
it's a long drive. Everyone drives 3 hours. So.
That's true. But whoever you bring, it doesn't matter. Life's going to go on. Life will go on.
That's true.
Life goes on.
Right. It's just I'm just looking to try to put something. Woody would take his car, but his car is old and it has issues. My car right now needs a transmission, so unless I go and buy a new car or we rent one, it's really not feasible to drive. And quite frankly, even if I buy a new car,
well,
we got 4 months. We got 3 to 4 months. So even if I buy a new car, I'll at least be able to drive it for 2-3 months and know that it's a good car.
That too. That part will help. So are you going to be the one doing the driving?
I definitely want to fly back. No, I would rent the car if we have to rent it, and then we all take turns driving it. Yeah, we'll take turns driving it. It's a 9-hour drive. I'll drive for 3 hours. Woody would drive for 3 hours, and whoever the third person is, drive for 3 hours. This way, nobody gets tired. Nobody gets irritable. Everybody gets a chance to take a nap in the back seat. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it would
good
be
setup.
cool.
You just got to set up the ground rules of look, but you can't touch.
Now we're getting to that creepy shit again.
No.
Yes. Look,
No
everyone keep their
one
hands
better
to
be
themselves.
saying that they want action.
Definitely not.
Listen, this is going to be a Georgia satellite ride. Don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself, okay?
Okay, there you go.
There'll be no fallen angels.
No.
No fallen angels, no necromancer, none of that crazy shit. The only necromancer I want to hear is the Rush song if we're driving up. That's it.
Okay.
All right,
which makes a lot of sense.
But
so,
anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
What football were you talking about today, so I can make my quick comment and let the rest of the people on?
Sure. So stock reports on the players coming out of minicamp. Now we have a 40-day break before training camp, so we went through some of the players that have performed well and some of the players that have performed not so well.
Well, I understand Malachi is hurt, but I understand they were saying the people were saying there were issues with his attitude. I want to know what the coaching staff says about Malachi. Did the coaching staff itself, this new coaching staff, have an issue with Corley? Because if it's just hearsay, I don't want to hear that crap. The guy's hurt. Don't kick a man when he's down. But if the newer coaches really think there's a problem with him, that concerns me because I think the kid, let me put it this way, if I had a problem with the prior coaching staff and then I had this whole new blank sheet of paper and a whole new lease on life, the last thing I would do is give the new coaching staff any kind of bullshit. So I don't know where this is coming from because if he is giving the new coaching staff any kind of bullshit or reason to take pause, then it truly is a problem with Corley. If not, then the people really need to stop speculating and rumor milling this because you're going to hurt a young man's career.
I agree, and hopefully things fix out because we want good things for Malachi Corley. We'll see if he's able to turn it around. Let's go next. The Hepster.
Hey now.
Hey, Pop. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious. Did you go to see the show yet? Did you go see the Brent Michaels show yet?
Yeah, so it's tonight.
Nice. What time are you heading over there? About 8 o'clock or a little earlier?
No, it's even earlier. The concert starts at 7. There's other bands that are with him. He's the main act.
Yeah, Night Ranger.
Yep. And
okay, I remember those guys.
Quiet Riot, I believe, is the other one. So nice.
Right.
We'll see them. So yeah, we'll probably head over probably somewhere in the 3, 4, 5 o'clock, something like that, to get there early to check out the shop, whatever they call that, at concerts, the concert shop, to check that out and see what else is going to be happening.
Yeah, it was funny. I would do these tours. I don't know if you know, I was in a Beatle tribute band called the Fab Four.
I didn't know exactly, so I'm glad you're giving us some more deets. So a Beatle tribute band, okay.
Yeah,
what were you guys called?
It was called the Fab Four. It was a pretty big Beatle band.
Yeah.
And I traveled all over the country and all over the world. And but I would play with these guys that were at like I was at the top of my cover band thing, but they were kind of at the bottom of their national really relax. So I would play with like people that have already kind of hit their heyday kind of thing, and they would hit the casino circuits and like
Sure.
and I think that's what you guys are probably right now. You're hitting.
We
those
are.
kind of-
It's my pop probably has it in front of him. It's
Hollywood Casino.
yeah, at the Penn State National Race Course. That's where it's at. It's out here in Granville.
Nice. The nice thing about those shows is it's a lot more intimate. You could get,
Yes.
it's a little, so
Capacity
it's not like
7,000. So
yeah, that's a pretty good size,
yeah.
But it's
So
still, it's not those stadium seats. So,
no,
yeah,
which right again, you sort of lose that certain special quality that exists when you're sort of closer together, which is nice.
Yeah.
And also, Hep, I noticed this because we're Facebook friends, Facebook amigos, if you will. That I saw Facebook Live. I'm like, Hep's playing. He's playing a live concert for the people on the internet space.
Yeah,
So do you do that often?
No, I was for Brian Wilson. I was doing a Brian Wilson song.
Oh, that's cool for the beach.
little-
Yeah, obviously the Beach Boys, right?
Like
yeah.
a little surfer girl,
That's cool, man. Yeah. So awesome. I appreciate when you do that, Hep.
Yeah, they might have a meet and greet there. You might be able to meet Brent Michaels. So if you have any autographed stuff, you might want to.
That'd be fascinating. Come on, wouldn't that take this to another level?
Yeah, get a hat or something, have them sign it because they usually have those meet and greet things at those things. But anyway, peace out, guys.
Appreciate it, Hep. That's a good idea. I'm gonna have to look into that. Brett Michaels meet and greet. Sounds like a hell of a time, if you ask me. A hell of a time indeed. All right, let's keep going down the phone lines. Oh my goodness, we have I just want to thank you guys that were here on a Saturday on June 14th. We're in the gap between mandatory minicamp and training camp, and we have so many people that are trying to call into the show. Salute to Jet fans, baby. That's the kind of support we're talking about. So we have an unbelievable amount of callers. We will get to everybody here on the show. Good Lord have mercy. All right, let's go piece by piece. Up next, we have Ted, NY Jets FL, baby.
Good morning. Happy Father's Day to both of you, actually.
I don't think we've ever gotten you like this. This is the cleanest shot we've ever had of you, Ted. This is wow.
Trying to improve my image. Just get out of the gym right next to me.
Nice.
Hey, Paul Senior, my first concert was 38 Special Night Ranger. So just so you know, I'm in the same genre as you, basically.
I think mine was I'll have to wait and come up with it. Hold on, I'll come up with it. I do remember it was like an outdoor show, but okay, go ahead.
Hey, Paul, is Indy Jets on hold?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so I did some research after that debate about Devontae and Garrett. I don't know if I don't want to spoil his fun, but should I just give you what I think my impressions?
It's gonna come later.
How about this, Ted? Why don't we do this? Is that the main thing of what you want to discuss?
Yes.
Okay, hang on tight. Let me finish these and we'll all circle back around. So I want you guys to all get your full flower here. We're going to end that with a bang, and oh, baby, I can't wait for that.
Steppenwolf. It was Steppenwolf.
Oh, there you go.
Steppenwolf.
So we will get that. We all knew that was coming after yesterday's show. We're going to get to that. So hang on tight. That's going to be funny. Let's go to our boy, Tommy, who gifted some Boy Green Coffee Club action earlier. Thanks, Tommy. What's up, brother?
Boy Green. Pops, how are you? Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. By the way, we got you on back-to-back shows, Tommy. That's a streak.
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to say happy birthday to Johnny Boy. Love the hats, the camo gear. Salute to you guys.
Yeah, baby.
Two jet points and then the one prom story I'll get to real quick. I'll be fast.
Nice. Yeah.
And Ted's the man too. Like Ted is the man.
Love Ted, yeah.
Ted. Jets points, I'll go real fast.
Yeah.
My biggest concern on this team is pass rusher. Because Jermaine Johnson's coming back off the Achilles. He might not be all right until halfway through the season. We got Will McDonald, who put on 15 pounds of muscle, that they say he put on 15 pounds of muscle, but I want to see it first because he cannot tackle the run for shit. And we didn't draft a D tackle. So we signed like 3 D tackles, but they're all making minimum wage, like bare minimum money. So who's gonna help out our boy Quinn Williams in the middle? Like who's gonna help him out? That's my biggest concern.
Yes.
And the other thing about Malachi Corley is, look, the guy caught the pass, he dropped it like an inch from the goal line.
What an
and they
idiot.
never played the guy again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I still think that there's a lot. I know he's injured and he's not on the field, but there's no way you can cut ties with this guy this early. You got to give him a shot. And if Xavier Gibson and the new rookie, the fast guy, if they beat him out, they beat him out. But when you put pads on this guy, he wasn't the Yak King for nothing. Like, let's give this guy an actual shot in the NFL and give him some opportunity. Besides, when he dropped the ball like an idiot, an inch before the goal line, when I'm screaming at this fucking guy, but sorry, my language.
No, it's the internet. I do want to just highlight real quick before you go on that is such a great point. Obviously, Malachi's injured, obviously, so we couldn't have seen anything anyway. But to be honest, if you want to see Malachi Corley as the Yak King, that's not happening in two-hand touch here over OTA's mandatory minicamp. Where Malachi Corley shows his love is exactly what you said. We're slapping on the pads in July. Malachi, the mission's simple. You got 6 weeks, kid. Get as healthy as you can and get ready to buckle your chin strap because that's where you're going to make waves. Everyone else dancing around, prancing around in this speed 7-on-7 bullshit, even though AG doesn't do that. He only does 11-on-11s. But still, the point is that Malachi Corley, he wasn't going to look good if he was healthy during this time. Where he's going to look good his training camp. That's his chance to make some noise. So I hope he does.
And the thing is, BG, like Arian Smith, the guy we drafted in the fourth round or whatever, is a completely different wide receiver than Malachi Corley.
For sure.
I understand that they both play slot positions, but one needs the pads and takes on hits. One's just a complete burner. So they're different, even though they're in the same, you know what I mean, lockdown slot or third receiver. But hopefully Josh Reynolds can do something. And Garrett it's all we in Fields we trust. If Fields can do this, we can do it. But the last thing about the prom, I wanted to take my girlfriend, my crush, all my life, from high school, from my high school. And I played running back like you did.
There you go, baby.
I wore number 32, but I couldn't go with the girl because she already planned the limousine. So they already had like the 10 people for that limousine. So I couldn't fit into it. So I had to take a girl from like 2 towns over.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the night, when we did it in prom, we all went to a hotel. We went to the Marriott.
Oh.
At that night, once prom ended and all the pictures were taken and all the makeup was over, I passed her over to my boy and I got with my high school crush.
Hey.
Even though I didn't have the picture or the dance, it still worked out at the end of the night.
Look at that, Tommy. Hey, that's a role model, baby.
God bless you guys. Pops, I love you because you're just like my father, bro. Keep kicking Boy Green's ass because it's only going to make him better. Keep kicking his ass. Hell? It only makes him stronger and better. Love you guys.
Thanks, Tommy. Flex it on him, and I can't wait to pry this torch out of his cold, dead fingers, baby. It's happening sooner rather than later.
Easy. By the way, speaking of easy, I thought we were stepping away from that type of material with your end around. Nobody wants to talk about the end arounds. All right, so calm it down in the comments.
Anywho, speaking of, did we find the third guy again? Johnny?
Nope.
He's thunderstruck.
Oh yeah,
it's a little TNT action.
That's right.
Let's just say that I was a shoot to thrill. If you get
Hell's Bells.
Oh,
look what the cat dragged in.
There you go. Booyah.
Hey,
party all night long.
First off, thank you to everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. Appreciate that, man.
And happy birthday, man.
Let's just say I got the happy birthday, Mr. President, Marilyn Monroe style from the wife this morning.
There you go.
Nice showing. And then
Ayo.
I did have to say, in regards to the Corley stuff, kind of talked about it yesterday, BG, like there's been talk, and I don't want to put the stuff out there, but he has he's not motivated, and that's crazy to hear. And now you have the new coach, and I think it was Tanner, who was talking about Corley and him not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And if he doesn't get his crap right, he's going to be out. Mm-hmm. So the wide receiver tomb is up in the air, man.
Completely.
And who's going to be the one to step up and be able to go ahead and get that position filled, right? So having Lamont on last night gave some insight in regards to like AG.
So who did you have last night?
Lamont Burns on
Okay.
was a right guard for the
Interesting. And where did you? And what show? What channel was that people can subscribe to? I'm sorry.
Hey, Jets Worldwide, all
Jets.
one word.
That's wide. Okay, wide.
But
Wide. Okay, yeah. Okay.
He really gave us a huge insight in regards to like how AG works and the way Parcells really, molded him and the whole nine. And to hear that from a player that still coaches to this day, right, was amazing, because he's like, AG is just like Parcells in a sense. He don't care if you're Garrett Wilson. He doesn't care if you're Sauce. He doesn't care if you're good and you beat somebody out, he's gonna start you and he's gonna put you in there. So I say that because after speaking with him, I'm pretty excited, man. He talked big in regards about the offensive line and what this offensive line is going to be. So
I see this. Wait, so Jets Worldwide on the screen. Subscribed. Okay, up there's the interview right there. Episode 36, interview with former Jets player Lamont Burns. Wow, guys, check this out. Yeah, show your support.
Yeah, please do, guys. We're trying, man. Trying to get more people to come up in there. So, and shout you out to BG on giving us some advice in regards to how to interview somebody. Smooth, man. He was cool as anything. Really, again, the insight on what he's talking about, the Parcells stories that he has that nobody really talks about, because everybody talks about Parcells and they just think that he was this like tough ass dude and all that, but he gets so much love from all of his ex-players and everything, and he talks about that as well. So the real cool thing that I liked though was the AG conversation with him, and he talked about AG on how he was as a player and the way it's going to transition into as a coach and what he's going to continue to keep doing with that. So did you see how the players, like the offensive line, were catching balls from the quarterback? They were like route and all that. Yeah. That was a Parcells thing. He was like, yeah, we did that when we were in training camp with Parcells as well. So pretty cool, man. Just wanted to come up here and say that. You guys have fun today?
Well, 1 second here, Johnny, if you can. We've got a YouTube super chat coming in, and we appreciate that. Every time we get that from the chat, the shout out, we appreciate it.
Wow.
Fastest Food Reviews, a.k.a. Chef Kevin Gilbert, another YouTube channel you guys should subscribe to. Him and his son, that's really cool what they do over there. He says, good morning, Boy Green and Pops. Want to wish my guy Johnny a happy birthday. Salute. Enjoy the day, and of course, happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there. I know we got a lot of awesome Jets dads in here. Obviously, I got mine right here for me. So hopefully you guys are having a great weekend and doing awesome stuff. I know you, Johnny, and your dad are really close. It was cool to meet him last year, and so amazing. So salute to all those people, and thank you, Chef Kevin Gilbert. You got 2 raffle tickets for a contest this month. Thanks for giving that shout out to Johnny.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chef Kev, man, I appreciate you, brother. And you guys go check him out, man. Fastest Food Reviews. I think they just had one with the new burger.
I saw that.
Came out
the funky burger. Like, I don't know if it's How to Train Your Dragon or whatever it is. It looks like a Pretty Patty from SpongeBob. It's got all the funky colors on it. It's interesting, yeah.
But man, those reels that he does real quick and all that gives you either you're going to want to try it or you're not going to want to try it at all.
Exactly. There's some conviction. It's one or the other. I see him like, I'm in or I'm out. Yeah, for those reasons, Shark Tank style, I'm out.
Yep. A big shout out to Snowball, man. On he was the one that got Lamont Burns out there. So
great get, brother. Yes.
And last thing,
yes.
Happy Father's Day to all the pops out there. BG yourself and to pops as well, man. Yes. All the dads out there doing what they got to do this with, to be a dad and everything like that. It's awesome, man. It's amazing. Seeing my daughter graduate elementary school, it's a complete different feeling, man. Dude, you get all these emotions that come over you when they start walking that stage, and you're like, damn, how did time fly so quick, man? But
the good thing for you, Johnny, is you get to experience that 15 times for all your children. So I mean, you get to sort of replay the video over and over again with all your different children you have out in the universe.
Dude, 100%, man. I need to start picking up like a couple more jobs, man. Just, man. All right, you guys be good, man, and happy Father's Day, everybody out there. Peace.
Thank you, Johnny. And again, a shout out to his interview yesterday with a former Jets player. You guys should go check it out. It's terrific. Again, shout out to Chef Kev, who will be catering our tailgate for Jets Cowboys Week 5. Also, just real quick, one last nugget, and then we'll get to the main event of the evening. And it's this. I'm with Philium. The thing that bothers me about Malachi Corley is not the mistake. The mistake was stupid, obviously. The thing for me is how he handled it after. He was not contrite. He wasn't sorry. He didn't care. And me and Woody are diametrically opposed on this. You need to show to us, like, holy shit, that was a mistake. I should have never done that. I apologize to my teammates. I apologize to my coaches. I'm an idiot. That can never happen again. And when he was interviewed for the first time after this mistake, he went, who cares? Happens all the time. Pass the biscuits. Can't wait to get more targets. And to me, that's part of the immaturity that I question. Like, hey, man, take some accountability here. And Woody says, he doesn't need to take accountability. What does he owe you, Paul, out in the universe? It's not about me. It's about showing it to the rest of you. It's perception that you have that first opportunity to screw it. So I'm completely with Philium. That shit bothered me, and I hold that in the back of my head. The way that Allen Lazard did the same bullshit also is something that's always in the back of my head. So I'm completely with Philium in the comment section, who's saying that as well, just as a final nugget on the Malachi Corley story. I'm not saying it's dead, it's over, like we should never give him a chance. He needs to earn his chance, but hopefully you learn from that moment, because that to me, I didn't like how he handled it.
Absolutely. Now, before we bring the people on,
okay,
I want to remind, I think here's what we'll bring people on.
Okay.
What I would like not to do is to talk over each other like we're children.
Okay.
Right. I want to set up the parameters.
Okay.
This was the debate. The question rose.
Okay.
Everybody can take turns.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Presenting their facts and opinion.
Okay.
Right. The fact was, I was giving my thoughts on Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
The feedback from the coffee club was that Davante Adams' arrival significantly impacted Garrett Wilson's targets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Yep.
That is the topic. So let's make sure we stay laser focused on that's what we are talking about. So the field goal
post not being moved.
Yes, we're not gonna change what we're talking about. And so I will not go first. I'll leave it up to you, whoever we want to go first.
Okay. All right, I'll bring everybody in.
This is the topic.
Okay.
Not some rando, what the cat dragged in topic. We're not going to talk dirty to each other. We're going to keep it tight. There'll be no dirty deeds done dirt cheap. All right. So let's keep it tight.
Okay. So I'm going to bring both of these individuals next on the screen. I will allow the man that this all started with to go first. Indy Jets, who I'm about to bring on the screen. And also we're going to bring in Ted, who has jumped in this party. Hey, we found 2 more guys. All right, well, easy. We'll let you know the results. All right. With that being said, let's jump in here. We got Indy Jets and we got Ted. Welcome, boys. First off, good morning and happy Father's Day to both of you as you celebrate. And Indy, we'll start off with you, my man, because you were the belle of the ball yesterday. So please start us off.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. I appreciate it. And Pops, if you don't mind, do you mind if I just give a 2 cents about Corley?
No, absolutely. No, I don't care about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to start arguing about random things.
Yeah. So here's my 2 cents on Corley.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
yes.
Here's my 2 cents on Corley. Corley is gone. He's cut. And here's why I say that.
Okay.
When they were talking about when Ingstrom was talking about Corley being injured, usually a coach will talk about the injury and the healing time of the injury. And that's not what he did. He said Corley is mentally behind and it's going to be up to him if he gets caught up. We didn't even discuss the timeline of his injury. Right. He's talking about the mentality of this kid, and this kid's not even on the field. If you're playing, if the coach is talking about your mentality and you can't even get on the field, you're already done. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's excellent insight. And really, we got 40 days, and the way the NFL has configured the roster now, it's really ollie. You used to have to step down, yes, and now it's pretty much ollie income free. Everyone at the end,
at the end.
And so I think he's got one. I agree with you that there's something that we can't see or are unaware of that's wrong there. The talent's there, but he's got a runway. He just hopefully he recognizes that he's really his ass is on the line.
And before we dive into the deep end of the pit, do you have anything on Corley?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I'm just asking if you do or don't. If you don't, that's okay.
I would say one thing on Corley, and it was referred to in the last call about, or maybe you said it, Paul, about Parcells. Parcells learned the personality of every player and knew how to push the buttons, right? However, to motivate them.
Yep.
And I think Glenn, if anything, Glenn's the kind of guy that could get something out of Corley, if at all possible. So I'd see what happens with that one.
And I will just add on to that. I love that AG told that story of like how Bill Parcells used to annoy him and people laughed in the room. But he said, hey, man, I give him credit. Parcells met with me several times one-on-one, and he learned me and said, oh, I know what buttons to press with this guy. And this will get the best out of the players. So he did that with everybody. Great. I'm loving the AG Bill Parcells stories every time we get them at the presser. They're pretty cool. So I love that. Great point. All right. Back to you, Indy. You have first serve, my sir.
Okay, Pops. You ready? Right here. Okay.
You can start with I was wrong. You can just start with that.
No, I won't do that. I don't do that. I don't. That's pointing fingers. I'm going to let the facts, because you wanted facts. You don't like opinions. You want facts. So here's the facts.
Hopefully you.
All right. Garrett Wilson was averaging 11 targets per game prior to Davante Adams. He was the number one wide receiver for the New York Jets. He was, when Davante showed up, his targets went from 11 to 7.9. Okay. Yep. Davante took over as the number one in targets. Davante averaged 10.3 for the year, and Garrett dropped down to 9. So basically with Garrett or with when Davante showed up, Garrett got bumped to number 2. And we all know Garrett's the number one wide receiver, but because Aaron Rodgers force-fed Davante, and we watched that when he was at 499 touchdowns, and I mean he was throwing everything Davante's way. It didn't matter if Davante was triple covered; he was trying to get that 500 with Davante. 100%. And Garrett went from 0.5 touchdowns per game down to 0.36 touchdowns per game when Davante showed up. So with all these numbers, when Davante showed up, Aaron Rodgers bumped Garrett Wilson to the Jets' number 2 wide receiver. And if Aaron Rodgers, wasn't such a greedy asshole, and he would have kept Garrett Wilson as the number 1. Well, by keeping Garrett Wilson the number 1, you got 2 more targets per game. So you take that times 11, that's 22 more targets for the year. That if he would have continued his average, and that's just hearsay, because you can only say, well, that's what it would have been. But
if you're right, so you do your math on that, that means Garrett Wilson would have set the Jets' target record last year. Because of that, we talked about it earlier. Last season, he was 19 targets away from the record. With your math, he would have broken that target record that some people are predicting he could break this year. So very interesting. Okay.
And at the catch rate he was at, he probably would have broke the total number, the most catches.
That's probably also true.
Most receptions.
Range. Yes, right. Yeah.
Right. So So you take our number 1 wide receiver who's proven it over and over again with crap quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. You bring a quarterback who's probably going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, we can't argue that.
Of course not.
And this guy says, okay, Davante could have been a great number 2, and let's continue to feed the number 1. No, we're going to change the whole process, the whole thought process of what the Jets are, and we're going to make Davante, a guy who wasn't there for camp, a guy who's not a Jet, and we're gonna bump him up, and we're gonna down that. No wonder if Aaron Rodgers would have stayed this year, I think Garrett would have requested a trade.
That's what Ian Rappaport reported back in December.
Yep,
correct. So a guy, if Aaron Rodgers would have just said, all right, Garrett, you are the number 1, and we're going to continue what we were doing, prior to Devontae. And Devontae, you're going to be the best number 2 wide receiver in the league. But Aaron Rodgers couldn't do that. And so when it comes to paying Garrett, we were talking about that. When it comes to paying Garrett, is he Jamar Chase money? No, but he's just shy of that, I think. There.
All right.
That's my 2 cents, Pops.
Okay, very good. So, Ted, you want to go? You want me? I'll go. I don't care.
No, let's present all the facts, and then you let's.
Okay.
So the interest.
By the way, I would just, before you jump in, I would like to say that I agree with more to say. I agree with the facts that Indy presented.
Okay.
Those facts are true, except, but I'll come back.
Okay, I got my little scribbly notes here. So this is why statistics can be tweaked or looked at different ways. Okay, so Garrett was coming off a 23 attempt game versus Minnesota. Comes in and the next game, Devontae comes in. There were only, out of 11 games, there were only
Actually,
2
Devontae
games.
came in the game after that.
Yeah, he came in Pittsburgh.
So he
Buffalo.
didn't come in the Buffalo.
No,
game.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Garrett came off maybe I misspoke. Garrett came off a 23 attempt game against Minnesota.
Targets.
Yeah.
Target. I'm sorry. Yeah, Target. I'm sorry. So in 11 games that they played together,
yep,
there was only one game that Garrett was out, got more targets than Devontae. Okay. Only one game. And probably the most damning statistic here is in the last 4 games, and I know about the force feeding and everything. Devontae had 45 attempts, targets, sorry, in 4 games. Garrett had 26. Okay, so I just don't see how you can judge, say, hey, Garrett had 1,000 yards or whatever, when he had, let's see, he had 26 attempts for about 220 yards the last 4 games. So I'll make it quick. So I would say, you can go with any statistics or these or whatever. So it's hard to gauge his value, that especially after the 4 games and the scenario with Rodgers playing backyard football with Devontae. I mean, it was strictly a Devontae Rodgers show. That's all it was. Go ahead, Pop.
All right. So I would like to go back to my college days. I would like to bring up some statistics. I'd like to talk about statistics. So I would like to, I agree with the numbers that you both said. I would like to remove 2 statistical anomalies.
I see.
Yeah, I don't need help here. Thanks. I'd like to remove 2 statistical anomalies from the equations when we're talking about one from Devontae and one from Garrett. And the one anomaly I'd like to remove from Devontae is the Jacksonville game, right? I'd like to remove that statistical anomaly, the last 5 minutes of the Jacksonville game, where he racked up 198 yards in that game. That was obviously an anomaly, right? Without that game, so with that game, he averaged 77 yards a game, yardage-wise. Without that game, he averaged 65 yards a game. That's Devontae Adams. Just like that, that's a data point. You can look at it. I gave you both numbers. I think that Jacksonville's an anomaly. I would also like to, and Ted, you just brought it up, I'd like to take out the targets from the discussion from Garrett Wilson from the Minnesota game, because 23 targets is a statistical anomaly that only happened because Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 4 times that game. But anyways, we can have the numbers in, numbers out. Those 2 kind of skew the stats is all I'm saying for both of them. So before Devontae showed up, if you take out the 23 target game for Garrett, he averaged around 8.8 targets a game. After Devontae, he averaged 7.9, just like Indy Jet said. So we're less than 1 target a game difference. Again, taking out the Minnesota, because that's a garbage statistic that kind of pads the numbers, brings them from 8.8 to 11, right? And he only caught half of those 23 passes, by the way. So I would also like to say that Garrett Wilson's yardage before and after Devontae showed up, yards per game, was almost identical. Almost identical. He averaged 66.5 yards per game production before Devontae and 64 yards after Devontae. So a yard, a statistical difference of nothing, negligible. I would like to point out a couple interesting facts. With Aaron Rodgers' numbers, with Garrett and without Garrett, he actually threw the ball less after Devontae joined the team, and he achieved less yards after Devontae joined the team. Again, they're very small numbers. You can almost say it's a wash, but he threw the ball 3 less times on average for those 11 games with Devontae, and he gained 3 yards less in yardage. Again, I'll throw that out because that's an anomaly. But essentially, it's a wash. And so, with that being said, what I'm really saying is I believe Devontae took, and if you look, the first 6 games of the season, the catches, the targets, whatever you want to say, that he took, he ate up Lazard's targets. Lazard, for the first 6 games, had 8 targets a game. And then he essentially got hurt after, right about when Devontae showed up is when Lazard was hurt and out for the season. Also, the other one's Mike Williams. Aaron Rodgers didn't throw the ball hardly to anyone outside of Devontae and Garrett, right? 60 to 70% of the targets after Devontae joined the team, were those 2 players, where before that he spread the ball out more. Did Devontae's presence change the game? Yes. I would tell you that it's not a significant difference in Garrett's production before and after. That was the point, and that was what we were talking about. His yards per game were almost exactly the same, and he was about 0.9 targets a game less after Devontae showed up.
Go ahead, Indy.
I agree with you that the 23 targets was an anomaly. I don't disagree, because that's not typically what a wide receiver would get. But if you look at true number 1 wide receivers, whether it's Chase or Justin Jefferson, they're going to have 2-3 of those games every year of when they're just going to, you are the number 1 target. So you can't sit there and say, because at that time, Garrett was the number 1 wide receiver. You can't sit there and say that game didn't matter. Because as the true number 1 wide receiver, when I need to throw to you 21 times, 23 times, whatever it was, that's the guy. And it never happened again once Devontae got there, because he got bumped to number 2. And so, I agree with you that it's an anomaly, but it still happened. And it probably, and here we are with probablys and ifs, but typically it shows with Justin Jefferson, with Jamar Chase, that they're going to have a couple of games a year of 15, 20 targets, just because they are the number 1 guy. So I understand when you're talking statistics, you take the anomalies out, but it's not really an anomaly with a number 1 wide receiver. You're going to have 1, 2, even 3 games of a high target value. So those still count as a game, right?
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
Yeah. And for the record, I didn't take his yardage out from that game. His yardage was 65 and 65. It was only the targets I took out. And by the way, 10 of those targets, he didn't catch the ball. About a 60% clip, which is low. So we can leave it in, as you say. It skews the numbers a little bit. But in the end, was Devontae get thrown the ball more than Garrett? Yes. Was Garrett producing at the same rate after Devontae showed up? Yes. So you're surmising that he would have got the ball more if Devontae never joined the team. And I'm saying the ball would have gone to other players, and he would have kept getting the ball as often as he was getting it. His production would have been the same. The ball would have been spread out more than other than just Devontae. That's what I'm saying.
Well, if Devontae wasn't there and Lazard got hurt like he did, who were they throwing the ball to?
I think Corley might have had a better opportunity, frankly.
Hey, Paul, real quick.
Yeah, maybe.
That is,
anyway, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Good discussion. Copy. That's an interesting counter. But I'll go back to the last 4 games. 26 targets, 220 yards. Everyone brings up Jamar Chase, and he's playing with probably the best quarterback in the NFL, or one of the top 2. Because Burrow had a ridiculous year. You put Garrett on the Bengals. I think he'd be close to those numbers anyway. I mean, and not only that, Rodgers was hurt, somewhat inaccurate at times. and looking for first reads. So it's a good argument on both sides, I'd say. It's hard to count. It's hard to counter either one.
Yeah, both had, and I just want to say, as the intermediate party with no skin in the game here, I thought there was compelling statistical nuggets for both. I agree with Indy that that's true. That's when my dad, who's a numbers guy, looks black and white. He's like, "Whoa, there's a red number here, Minnesota." That's bizarre to what the rest of the season was, but great counterpoint by Indy. Yeah, sure, that looks red because another thing jumped in here, which made the red stand out. The red wouldn't have stood out as much because there would have been other games where the media and all this narrative would have pushed it, where Garrett would have been fed his targets to overcompensate. So there would have been more of the red on the sheet. Yeah,
there might have. Let's not say there would have.
Well, we can never say for sure.
Well, you're making like it's going to be a fact as opposed to you're projecting what might be.
Well, okay, Corley had one catch on the year, so the guy that you say would have filled in for Lazard, that's some projecting.
No, I said he could have.
Right,
that was asked a question,
and I'm saying who else? Okay, so let's
they could have thrown it to Conklin, who didn't drop a ball all year. They could have thrown it to him, maybe.
Hey, let me say Paul. Yeah, you would think after the Minnesota game, Rodgers would say, "Oh my God, this is my guy. I'm going to feed this guy a ridiculous amount."
Exactly.
But it's the opposite. He was out targeted, every game practically after that. So,
It could have been because, and I didn't break down the tape. I think I was on an airplane during that game, but I'll tell you, it may have been the attempts he threw versus how many times he caught it. Like maybe he wasn't there when he thought he wasn't where he thought he was going to be. The synchronicity wasn't there between them because 10 times that he threw him the ball, there was not a reception, which is a low number.
Well, I think,
he might have lost confidence in him.
I think in that game, Rodgers was running for his life. If that was the London game, plus, part of that is the inaccuracy of possibly Rodgers, throwing on the run. So you never know. Yeah. But I get it. I appreciate it, though. I know you guys have a long day, so whatever you want to go, I'm good with it.
Well, I just wanted to give this opportunity for us to have this conversation. I thought everyone brought compelling points, great stats. It's good when we can do this, especially during the dead time. So this is a really cool way for us to have these healthy conversations. I hope it's not the last one. Go ahead, Indy.
Hey, I just wanted to know, I don't know if you caught the Jake Asman show yesterday where I won the Walt Clyde Frazier. I won the Knicks jersey.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I would ever do with a Walt Clyde Frazier jersey. And so I said, I don't know if you saw that or not, but I was like, okay, I can't be disrespectful. I mean, Frazier was one of the better Knicks players in the history of the Knicks.
Yes,
and absolutely. I couldn't be disrespectful and bring it into my house and put it in a closet somewhere. So I told Jake, I said, let's bring who are your top Knicks fans that come into the show. Yeah. And he did a little wheel and picked four people. And I said, let's just give it back. And then let's let the chat vote on who gets the jersey.
Awesome. I love
he did a wheel.
And Genergy. What's that?
I said he did a wheel to give something away. That's weird.
Yeah. He put 12, 15 Knicks fans on there and picked four different players, and there we go.
Well, shout out to you,
but Genergy,
everyone would have done that.
Genergy won the. Hey. She won the vote. I just, even though the Pacers lost last night, hey, we still 2-2. But yeah, I just couldn't bring a Knicks jersey in here. And by the way, thanks, Scotty. Let him know. I got notification that the Halliburton jersey is at the mailbox.
Okay, beautiful. So it's ready for pickup. Indy, Ted, thank you guys so much for joining. Great debate. Thank you to the 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Great debate. Tip of the cap to both Indy as well. And yeah, hit it, baby. And take it to Pound Town. 400 people in the room. Shout out to the people that listen audio only version. Shout out to the people that listen or watch after the fact. We appreciate you. Again, it's Father's Day weekend. Enjoy the heck out of it. Pop will not be on the show tomorrow morning. He will be in airplane travel. I'm taking him to the airport, coming back here. I will do Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning. No NFL insider Matt Lombardo. He's on his own Father's Day giveaway, so shout out to Matt and all the dads out there. He'll be joining us later in the week, so we'll keep you guys blessed and posted on that. Hey, a super chat coming in at the bell. Love it.
Wow.
Stephen Fox jumps in, $4.99 super chat. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate all you do. God bless America. Have a great time tonight. Brett opens with Talk Dirty to Me. Great prediction. We will see. I'm fascinated to see. This is the first of his outside tour, so he's been doing a lot of media promotion for it. So we'll see what happens. And yes, in case those who missed it and joined in late, it's Father's Day weekend. I'm here in Grantville, Pennsylvania. I brought my dad here, and I wrote this in a social media post, but I'll say this to end the show, and because Pop's not going to be on the show tomorrow. Throughout my entire life, my dad had been serving our country in the United States Navy for over 20 years, and there was all kinds of time he lost with us kids because he was doing everything he could to support the family and do everything out there. And when we've been doing these special Father's Day trips, he always planned them out. He's like, hey, we're going to Jet Seattle. We're going to this Yankees Red Sox game. We're doing this special trip, this UFC, this. And he's done a lot of cool shit. And I've been very lucky as a son. And I said, you know what? It's time to flip the script. Let me plan something on him and surprise this bastard who loves surprises, you know? So if anyone ever runs into him in the future, surprise! Throw those birthday parties. He enjoys them. He does not. But anywho, we set up this surprise thing. He found out last night. The video's out on all my social media. I didn't upload that one to YouTube, so apologies to people for that there. But you can find it on the other social medias. I surprised him. We're going to Bret Michaels tonight for the concert. It's going to be epic. We got great seats. It's going to be an amazing time. And just all of you guys out there for your Father's Days, either yourself or your fathers that are in your life, take care of them. It's amazing. And I appreciate you guys showing all the support on the show today. This has been great. Absolutely great, Pop.
It has been great. It's a great time here. Great time today. Thank you to all the Coffee Club members. And looking forward to seeing you all in October.
Okay, that's for sure. And I see we also have a gifted membership. I will get to that here in just a minute. Stephen Fox, by the way, you've got yourself one raffle ticket, and you're $1 away from another raffle ticket. Just keep that in mind over the next 2 weeks. Thank you, Stephen, for that. And my guy, Indy Jets, baby. Hey, he's pouring one out for Pop. Here's a gifted membership. All right, let's Pop, do you have who that membership went to?
Yes. Fucking Jets for life.
Whoa, excuse the Guatemalan on this program, but I appreciate the coloring there. Very nice. And let's add another raffle ticket here on the board for Indy Jets, if I can read. There we go. Thankfully, my father can. Okay, that is doubling your raffle tickets for the month, Indy. You have 2 raffle tickets there as well. Thank you, Indy, for that. Again, thanks everybody for showing your support. Appreciate you again. I'll be back on in the same hotel room for Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning. Enjoy the times with your fathers. We're going to have nothing but a good time, baby. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.